Hi everyone, so I've kind of got a workflow for making hair in Zbrush. I don't know if anyone's used this method before, but it's kind of alright. There's a few little things that you need to be mindful of. So I've got my texture here, right? When you import a texture, the first thing you need to do is clone it and flip it vertically, and then fetch the vertically flipped one. I'm using the transparent slider here so I can see through it. And I'm just starting to layer up some base hair just to get an idea. So I'm just messing with the strips that are not masked. So as I've been doing this, I've been also like looking at the UVs, so like flattening UVs, and then moving the UVs of this particular piece around. You can see if I move it, how it changes the texture, and then if I do unflatten, it will kind of update here. But there's a problem with the UVs that they always seem to unify in the space. So whenever you've got something smaller than the UV space, it will actually kind of maximize it, and then it shifts the UVs. So it's just something to be mindful of. I kind of had a bug with it for a while, and I was like, didn't know what was going on. So let's see, I'll turn this texture off, right? And for example, if I move, let me just unmask everything. If I move like these here away from the edges, right, what's going to happen when I unflatten and flatten again, ZBrush maximizes things until they touch the edge, which inherently just moves their UVs. So you can see now when I put the texture on that things are in a different place. If I undo to the point where I had that, I don't know if it will let me do this because, yeah, let me see, texture on, like it's probably lost everything there. Just put, oh, I'm kind of lost. What have I done? I think all the mesh has just disappeared. Which is strange because it's actually here. So I think there's a few bugs. I'm probably using ZBrush in a way that it's not been used before, or at least there's not been enough bug testing with it. And there we go, okay. And you can see it's actually lost the placement of these, which is a bit silly, right? No matter how far I go back. So let me just talk about this workflow. Right, I'm just going to delete those. And so I've got this base head. And what I did was appended a plane. So just a plane like that. And let's say I've got some textures made from Hairstrand Designer here, right? So I've just been like, I'll just gradually build up some masking like this, and these are quite high quality resolution, so they're 4K when you export them. And so I've been doing that. I just made one clump to begin with just to test this. And if I go to texture map, okay, and do import, I'll just show you the full workflow of this. So import the mask, which is the easiest thing to see, right? And you can see it's this way up, which is, I suppose, okay if you want to keep it that way up. ZBrush has got this other problem of flipping the text, flipping the UVs of meshes and stuff like that. Now you can either just cut away what you don't want like this, and be left with that and just work with this actual piece, or I'm going to clone the texture, right, and go to texture and then flip V, and then fetch that new flipped V texture, and you can put transparent up like so. Right, now even though this is like a 4K texture, ZBrush isn't very good at displaying it. You can try and do stuff like a half, which will give you a bit. You can also try the anti-laced, which for me doesn't really do that much, just makes it a little bit blurred or something. A combination of both. Right, for me, I'm not going to bother with it. I'm quite happy with how it looks. Right, so I've got this. I'm going to do Shift F to see the wireframe. Right, you can't see it so well because of when the transparent is on, you can't see it so well, and because the base is black, you can't see it so well. So you have to turn the texture off to actually see this. Right, I'm actually going to reconstruct subdivisions because I want to go down to like this. Put a texture on, you can see I can get rid of a whole bunch like that. And I'll just delete the higher subdivs and delete hidden. Right, sorry about my custom UI, it's a bit messy, even for me, I still find it messy. But everything you can find in the different menus. I'm not going to cover that because there's a whole different 20 minutes or so to go over. I just want to go over this for people that are a bit more adverse with ZBrush. Right, so I will just move this around, right, to get it in place, and let's put double on so I see both sides, right, and I'm going to move this up and move it into place. And what I'd probably start doing is like mask an area, flip the mask, move this the gizmo up to here, say lock the mask, and then like rotate. The mask needs blurred as well, right, and rotate like this or something, or use the move brush and move some bits around. The move brush is a bit what we need is a move project. That'd be there's different move brushes. There's move topological, move elastic, and you can try these. Topological is a bit slower. Be move elastic is a bit better, but still tricky. Snake hook, again, it's just pulling like the nearest side. So this kind of method isn't always good. You can try other methods that you like to get these, you know, this to match. But anyway, I'm just going to smooth this and move it around and get it to a place where it kind of looks like it would sit on the head, right? And you can do the Z modeler tools, so BZM, and mask some edge. So I'll just clear the mask. I'm gonna mask this edge loop and this one, and then I'm just gonna move the, you know, the inner part like that, so it's kind of like a kind of bump shape. Right, I'm just gonna scale the whole lot down a bit. Oops, let's clear the mask. Scale it down a bit and move it in place, and then just start using the move brush. It's a bit of a tedious workflow, but if you're not in the mood for like using spline curves and any other methods like deformers in Blender or Maya or Max or whatever you use, then this could be a method for you. I'm also going to like do minimum connected so that I can smooth it inwards. Right, but here's the problem that I kind of encountered. Let's say I want to just adjust the UVs so that I maximize the hairs on this. If I do flatten, you can see basically I can see through, right, and see the texture underneath, and I can adjust this. Now I'm just going to turn texture off because I just want to move, like I'm just moving the mesh. Right, let's say I want to bring this in to kind of match all of this better. Right, and even the top. Now what ZBrush is going to do, it's not going to think about the space around the edge here. Like it's kind of weird, like when you use ZBrush's flatten and then you expect this to be the 0 to 1 space. Like once I've done this and I do unflatten, put texture on, right, it might look fine, but let's go back to flatten again. You'll see that it's actually moved these points to the edge, right? It's moved the points to the edge but kept the texture the same. So unflatten, you'll see eventually, see how it keeps adjusting and maximizing the space. So this is a little ZBrush bug. It's going to keep doing this to show you it really, you know, it is a thing. Right, so you see I've left a gap there, gap there, gap there, unflatten, and then I flatten again. It just like pushes itself to the edge each time. Right, I'm going to actually like trim a bit there as well, so unflatten. Look, and it's just getting more and more distance. Doesn't make any sense. Alright, so this doesn't actually match what's going on. Because all I'm doing is compressing up, you know, all this space here. I'm not actually doing it in the right way. So that's the only thing we're using ZBrush. So a little workaround is just to place some little objects that are using the full UV space, if you like, and just they are always there, but I don't think it's gonna make much difference and just be more of a pain to deal with. But I thought this would be good to show you. You see how it doesn't quite match. There's all this extra stuff here. Now I could probably go to, let's say, unflatten and turn the texture off and just get rid of these, right? And then texture on, all good. And then if I go to flatten, watch what happens. And then unflatten, this big gap again. So every time I flatten, it seems to be maximizing these to the edges. No matter what I do, so it's always then changing the UVs. So I don't know if there's a way to actually keep this. I could try use existing seams. Let's try flatten, unflatten, and flatten. It keeps moving, right? Unflatten. What's a control map? Okay, yeah, we don't need that. So yeah, this is just a little bug, ZBrush. If anybody can help with this, that'd be cool, because this could be a pretty decent workflow if things are okay. Now the best way to do this is actually just like pre-make the hair cards and their UVs, like in Max or Maya or Blender, whatever you want to use, instead of relying on ZBrushes. You can see it doesn't quite work the way we hope. Or if there's a fix to this to stop ZBrush, like what do you call it, unifying the UVs, or I don't know, normalising the UVs or whatever it's doing, but it's obviously just like reunifying to the 0 to 1 space, and yeah, that's just fine for, you know, some kind of intermediate workflow, but for like actually using ZBrush this way, it's no good. So I don't know if there's a fix to this, but if anyone can help, that would be cool, and I could totally do some hair stuff like this. But moving on, so I'll just come out with this and do it as a slightly different way for now. Like I wouldn't even touch the UVs, so again I'll just do the plane. So let's do subtool, delete that, append the plane again. Right, so I've got this plane, can't see it because it's somewhere. Let's put double on, maybe we'll say, there we go. Right, so I'm going to turn double off just to see it's facing this way. So I'm going to rotate this plane 90 degrees, move it there, and just throw the texture on it. Right, and don't even use the UV master, just straight for the texture. Right, and it's like all backwards and everything. I'm going to actually flip it horizontally here. To do that, I'll just do mirror X, and then I'll flip the faces. So display properties, flip. Some sort of illusion. Maybe I've flipped it the wrong way, so I'll flip it in Z. There we go. And so this now matches the texture, right? So I'm just going to move this to there. And I can turn the texture off or whatever. I'll turn transparent on, I'll see the wireframe a bit, right? Be good to see a bit of both. I don't know how to see fill gradient. Yeah, I don't know how to see both the texture and the wire, the poly frame here. Apart from this way, like you can see it a bit. Only if there's something behind it. Maybe if I did a gradient in the document, I doubt it, but you can always try that. Nah, only shows where there's something there. But now I can just like get rid of some of that stuff. And I would essentially just do the same thing for every new strip that I want to make. Just check it like that. I'm already at the top there, so delete hidden. And if I wanted to get rid of some edge loops, I suppose I could do reconstruct subdivision if it will let me. It's not able to do it because of an odd number, so I'm just going to undo that and reconstruct subdivision. Delete hidden. There we go. Okay, so then I'll just mask down the middle here, right, and invert the mask, and then move that out. Right, so I get this nice shape. I'm also going to uncrease all. I don't think I want or need creasing at this stage. If I want to simplify it more, I'll do BZM and just do Alt and click. Alt click. Oh yeah, sorry. Delete edge loop. Delete higher subdiv. Ooh, okay. For some reason, it's also messing with the UVs, and it's like, I don't know what it's doing. Let's just see. It's adding an edge loop. I just want to. Okay, you use insert and then alt. Right, that's what I should be doing. There we go. But it's messing with the UVs. Okay, so you can't really do anything like adding or something like that. You can do divide, it would be fine, right? But you can't really do much else. In fact, like that shrunk a bit. Let's try the morph target stuff. So store morph target, divide, go back there, switch. Okay, so that's okay. Let's just constantly like changing when you subdivide. Well, I suppose using Zbrush for this workflow might not be the best choice, but I don't know, it's entirely up to you. It's just I thought I'd share this potential workflow, but I don't think it is that good. But I just like the way you can sort of just move stuff around like this, really, with a big brush. It could save some time, but just be mindful of all those little problems with it. If you do come across those, then you're not alone with them. If you've got a fix for any of those things, let me know. That would be cool, because this could be a good workflow. Maybe it's just cumbersome, because I'm starting to find it a bit fiddly, and especially dealing with like different layers and stuff. If only there was an easy way to do hair cards, we'd all be just making hairdos. We'd be virtual barbers. Right, you can see how this could potentially lead to a decent workflow. Right, you could always just edit the UVs outside, but this could be a good start. So let's say you had that, and then you could then shift and drag just to delete higher, and then start moving this one around. Eventually you'll fill in the gaps and make different strips, you know, make different strips, like so. In Hair Strand Designer here, I'll just make another like a third set and introduce some strands, and then I can add some spacing. Let's do loads. Make them a little bit thicker. Oh, I don't want to upset that one. Okay, you can't really do thickness override. I'll need to re-render that. But yeah, you can do something like that and make a shorter, wider clump. I was going to move it so it's got lots of space. And then I'll just render those. I'll just render the mask actually. Right, and I'll just export that and overwrite the other one, which is this one. Right, and I'll just alt tab back to Zbrush, and I can import the updated texture. Just bear in mind I need to clone it, and then to flip V, and then choose it. There you go. So let's say I wanted to use different bit. I suppose like now I've got the UVs as they are. If I do flatten, you can see you can see how this actually sits nice. This time it seems to be better. I'll just toggle the texture. In fact, what I've done is went to document and draw, sorry, and then chose that one. There we go, so we can see it. So I'm just going to move this. So you see, it's actually showing you the texture that's on it. I might as well just do that. And if I move this over to this one, I don't know why it's not shrunk to the left side this time, which is unusual. I thought it always did that. I think it's just unifying the spaces. Also, it's like it's clamped at the top and bottom here, so maybe we're okay if we do that. Right, and then do unflatten, texture on. I've actually got this. Yeah, see, it's not done it right. Yeah, it's done it this time. It's moved them all to the left. Frickin' penis. That's the only bad thing with this, is that it's done that. Now what I could do is do a little hack. I'll make a copy of this and I'll just make it like super, like razor thin, just for the sake of holding like a position here. Let's unmask everything and move these across to where they should be. Right, like that. And then I'm just gonna like choose this one. Let's just polygroup it as well. I'm going to use this as kind of marker. Right, since this keeps happening, I'm going to move it tight to the left. Let's do unflatten and flatten again. What? Right, it didn't like me cloning inside flatten mode. Right, so let's just do it another way. Let's do auto groups, control that, flip this, move this here. Right, copy like that, and then it's got to flatten. And I'm going to move this one left, scale it all the way down. This will be my control one, so I'll just do control W like this. I think I've moved the wrong one. I'm confused. Just auto groups. Right, there we go. There's two there, right? Let's just take this one and move it like that. So this one I'll just keep there. It's my control, right, for keeping the things from shrinking. And this one I'll move here and expand it to match that area. Right, and then do unflatten. Fingers crossed. Like, so this one here looks like the control one. I moved them by accident, sorry. And it's going to move this one across. This is such a messy workflow, to be honest, but only because I'm really half-assing this. Right. And yeah, it's not the most forgiving workflow that it seems to be. Right, I'm going to use mask by polygroups because I've got different groups on these, and it's going to help if I do auto groups, that is. Right, and I can sort of overlay these, do a little bit of transparent, and yeah, sort of mash these into shape. Again, not the best workflow, but maybe you like this idea. Right, there is actually another mesh somewhere where it is. Yeah. Okay, so this mesh, I'm just gonna leave it. Right, it's gonna become transparent when I put texture on. Right, it is there. I don't have to care about it. It might get messy when I start to want to clone stuff, because if I do W and then do that, it's gonna also clone that. Right, so just be mindful of that. So ideally I'll just keep those masked and then do something like this and rotate these, put my texture on, and then I'll do my auto groups. Right, let's remask this. I don't know what to do with this really. Hide it, I don't know. But anyway. And also it's quite hard to see. It's quite hard to see everything, like if things are cutting through and the control. So this, yeah, definitely not the most promising method. It's kind of sloppy and messy. Kind of hard to do everything you want, especially with these polygroups, you know, starting to overlap. You can maybe do group split, but then you need your texture on for each one. Yeah, I don't think this is the best workflow, guys. So anyway, thanks for watching this video. I hope it's useful or useless. I just thought I'd show you a few little hair-based tricks that turned out to be a fail. So yeah, don't do it. Don't use Zbrush. I mean, it's more hassle than it's worth, to be honest. Even though I see a lot of these like insert hair strips things, I don't know, maybe that's better or worse. Like, you'd have to do a lot of UV fixing either way. Thanks for watching. Bye.